So we've asked our panelists to think about who they consider the big winners and potentially the big losers in the new year. Jim Mills, who is your winner? Who is your loser?
Well,
in
this week,
2016?
this week with the snowstorm, I have to go with our drivers out there plowing the roads, spending 24 hours out there making sure our roads are.
Are they winners or losers?
They're winners. I mean, because it takes a lot. We don't have that many drivers out there. I mean, they're out there. You know, Washington County is growing, and we got a lot more developments, and people want to get out. And I can tell you, you know, it took our neighborhood, Robinwood Development, to took a while. But when it did come, but it was. And my other winner is neighbors helping neighbors to help us get out of the snowstorm. You know, I have two winners. Losers are out there. I don't want to talk about losers and stay negative. I want to talk about positive. So
I got some losers we can cover. Don't
yeah, Bob will take care of the losers. But you know, I hats off, salute the plow drivers out there. Thank you so much, and all the other people who was out there helping, plus the senior citizens out.
Excellent. Well, Bob, since you have your winners and you have some losers, tell us who they are.
I'm going to go with my loser first.
Okay.
And my loser is every weatherman who predicted and was finally right on the amount of accumulation we had.
Why would that make them a loser?
Because they're never right. And in my eyes, they were a loser.
Okay.
Now, I just hate snow. I'm being
we all hate snow.
I mean, they're not losers.
Okay.
I mean, weathermen, and I've said it before, are just like economists. You know, they could be wrong 50% of the time and still be heroes.
Right.
Because they're right 50% of the time. But my winners, and Jim took it on the county side, and I'll take it on the city side, are the public works people for the city of Hagerstown who worked nonstop for 3 days in a row, just trying to get our streets cleared first. And they did a great job. You know, they were down my street a couple times because they kept plowing me in, so I knew they were down a couple times. But they did a great job. I actually had a chance to talk to one out in front of the house, and you know, he did 12 hours and went home for 12 and came back for 12 and went home for 12 and came back for 12. And he said, you know, I said, well, just be careful. Don't fall asleep. That's all. You know, so he said when it was snowing really bad on Saturday night, he said it didn't matter. He said you couldn't see more than a foot in front of your truck.
I'll bet.
So even with the bright lights that they had and everything, it didn't matter. So kudos to them. They did a great job. And they're still doing a great job.
Yeah.
They're being so nice about it that they're bringing extra snow to the stadium for us. and dropping it off in the parking lot.
Staging area.
It's off season.
It is, but we'll have snow plows until May. But which would be cool for the kids. You know, you come out and throw snowballs for the game.
There you go.
And I do have another winner.
You do have another winner?
I do, and it's the county. Looks like they're moving forward on the Emerald Point development. I believe that shows a lot. It shows a lot from Paul Crampton, whose original idea they didn't like, came back with an updated idea about and site plan, and it seems like the people in Fox Lake Meadows are okay with it, and Paul's okay with it, and the county's okay with it. It looks like that development's going to move forward. You know, we cannot continue to slow development in our county, and I'll have something to say about that on my last call.
Okay, very good. Colin, what say you?
Well, what I say, and I will start with the winners, and I'm going to have to dovetail on what Jim and Bob have said in terms of, you know, I think that we're very fortunate, and I've lived in Montgomery County as well as Frederick County. Frederick County was light years ahead of Montgomery County in terms of snow removal, and Washington County, and especially Hagerstown City, I think probably does the best job of any place I've seen. I mean, there's something that's amazing about the fact that even during a snowstorm, you're already plowed out. And I have a good friend of mine who works for the State Highway Administration, and I know he was working similarly extremely long hours to be out on the roads and make sure that things were safe for drivers and what have you. In terms of my losers, I'm going to go with the political establishment. And I think it's been happening a lot on the Republican side, and I think it's refreshing to see it on the Democratic side. I'm glad to see the voters, and maybe in some cases for the wrong reasons, are done with the status quo politics. And I think that needs to catch more fire, and I hope it spreads beyond this election cycle.
Sure.
And that's all I got to say.
Okay, very good. Well, my winner is going back to a segment we had earlier, which is Larry Hogan. I think that, again, given what he walked into, I think he's done a bang-up job so far.
Yes.
And I'll be honest with you, I had deep concerns about his ability to get things done, and I know a couple of his things have been vetoed after the fact, and he's lost those fights for now. But I have high hopes for what he can do for this state, and I have high hopes that he'll level the playing field and hopefully bring more business and more economic growth into the state of Maryland.
Especially Western Maryland.
Yes.
We need it,
Exactly.
yes.
My losers are the citizens of Washington County. And this is not a slight against Mr. Baker or Mr. Spong, but the reality is, whether you admit it or not, when people say stupid stuff or do stupid stuff representing our county, it hurts us. I remember as a young man, my father was a member of a service, or not a service club, but I won't say the name of the club, but at any rate, so I joined because I felt like I should. And I remember probably 4 months into that, there was an article in the Washington Post that talked about this particular club, that the national organization was making them admit women, and the grand poobah or whatever he is said, well, nobody wants them, but we have no choice. And it was then that I penned my resignation letter, because that is not how I want to be viewed as a citizen of this county, and that is not what this county is about.
Right.
There are good people in this county, and these people that represent us, whether it was a gaffe or whether it was stupid or whatever it was, they need to watch what they say, because they are representing us. And if they don't watch what they say, we need to deal with that at the voting. I'll take the last word on that. You stay tuned, because last call is next. We'll be back in 3 minutes.